He's been a construction worker, banker, petroleum chemist and dentist with his very own practice.
My goal, my ambition growing up from Standard 1 was to be a doctor.
Yes, today, Kansas-based Gilbert Omido shares why he's a jack of all trades and the importance of reinvention while abroad.
The one thing America has taught me for sure is hard work.
This as Kenya Airways launches direct cargo flights from Nairobi to Sharjah in the United Arab Emirates in an effort to boost trade between the regions.
Our mission is really about the prosperity of the African continent.
Yes, that is what we have in store for you in this particular episode of Daring Abroad, and you are just in time. My name is Michael Zimanji, and before we cross over to Kansas in the United States, Daring Abroad Investment Forums kicked off last week with successful events happening in Perth and Adelaide cities. Now, there is still time for you to join in because Melbourne shall be happening from the 15th to the 17th of this particular month. You can join in as a sponsor, an exhibitor, or just an attendee. If you want to get in touch and participate, kindly reach out in the number on your screen. Now, let's go over to Dr. Gilbert Omido's story. And at the time of filming, he was running his very own successful dentistry business there in Kansas. And our very own Alex Chamwada has more.
Gilbert Omido is a man of many hats. From construction to banking, petroleum chemistry to dentistry, Gilbert has done it all.
I worked for Barclays Bank, Nairobi, for 7 years before I came to the United States. In the United States, I went to Friends University, I went to Kansas Newman College, I went to Butler County Community College, all for my undergrad work. Then I graduated with a chemistry degree and I became a petroleum chemist for 4 years. But prior to that, doing my undergrad work, I was doing construction work.
But within your line of petroleum chemistry?
No. This was what I did to make money to pay for my undergrad degree.
Mjengo, literally speaking. Kazi ya mjengo.
Kazi ya mjengo. Yeah.
Okay.
So we did that. Then my wife had joined me by that time. So it was just did that, went to school, graduated petroleum chemist for 4 years. Then I got a chance to go to dental school. Went to dental school, University of Oklahoma, and here I am as a dentist. It was easy then, now it's not. In our time, there are a lot more opportunities and the site was a lot more open to foreign students working openly to make money in the summertime, to be able to go to school in the fall, spring, and winter. Now it's not. I think government regulations have changed for a lot of foreign students to where if they don't have solid financial support from wherever their country of origin is, it's just impossible for them to do that.
Speaking of simple, how easy was it for Gilbert to land in America in the first place and why?
In our time, it was not that difficult. As a matter of fact, for me, I just walked to the American Embassy that one afternoon when I was frustrated in the bank, and they told me to start for the TOEFL exam, did the TOEFL exam, and presented it, and the visa was pretty much straightforward. I had some contacts. I had friends that had already moved to the United States. I had a cousin that was already in the United States. So for me, it was easy to have those contacts to use to get into college.
This was about 40 years ago. So how did the Vihiga County native move from a petroleum chemist to dentist?
My goal, my ambition growing up from Standard 1 was to be a doctor. That was my ambition. As a matter of fact, as a kid, I used to walk around in the village tying little chickens' legs that were broken with sticks And that was just what, in my mind, I was going to be a doctor. So it's not something that I just woke up one morning and decided I want to be. That's what I wanted to be. Becoming a petroleum chemist was a sidetrack because of the path that one has to undertake to go to medical school. It was a lot more complicated in reality than it was in theory coming here. Because I thought, when I left home, I told my wife, I'll go, you come join me in about 3 months. I'll go to medical school, I'll graduate, then we come back home. Well, it didn't work that way. First of all, for a foreigner to go into medical school is an impossibility. It's very, very tough, both financially and just opportunity-wise, because there are so many Americans that want to go in. So that's why it took time. So in the process, I became a chemist. And my instructor, my professor, in fact, wanted me to go and do a master's degree in chemical engineering. And I told him I really didn't want to do chemical engineering. I wanted to go to medical school. So time went by, and in the meantime, thank God, God bless Ronald Reagan. He declared amnesty for those of us that had done some work outside of our visa requirements as foreigners. He gave us a chance to become citizens. So when I became a citizen under that program, then it opened ways for me to go to medical school.
That is how Gilbert got to pursue his dream. This was after working as a petroleum chemist for 4 years and joining medical school.
It's a 4-year program, but I ended up being there for 5 years. You can stay and do different things for another year. So it took me an extra year.
How are you paying fees?
By this time, I was a fully fledged American citizen with that qualified for all kinds of grants. So I had some scholarships.
Gilbert eventually graduated from the University of Oklahoma and began life as a dentist in Kansas. And after 3 months, he opened his very own practice, Omido Exquisite Dentistry.
We did not begin in this building. We began in another building that was rented. But it was too small for us, so we moved into a bigger building that was also rented. And then we just got tired of renting and decided that we're going to build our own office. So we built this about 13, 14 years ago. My service is to maintain people's health, to treat disease.
So that exactly as a dentist is what kind of patients come in? Broken teeth or what? Or just as a dentist now?
So they come in, some come in just for cleanings, regular maintenance, every 3 months, 6 months, depending on their need. Some come in because they have a broken tooth. Some come in because, from an accident or just all kinds of things. Somebody got hit in the mouth, tooth just decayed because of poor care. So we see all kinds of situations. People come in without teeth at all, and they need some teeth without it because of their previous lifestyles or whatever they did in the past that rendered them toothless. So we had to figure out how to restore. A lot of it is because of lifestyle, so a little bit of it is genetics. My father, for example, when he came to visit me here, he was in his 80s and he had 31 teeth. He was missing one tooth and he had no cavities. So I asked him, Dad, how come you're missing one tooth and you have no cavities? He said, I was eating dry corn, Zimbedidio,
Yes.
and one tooth broke. So people just need to be careful what they eat. They need to be conscious of where they're at, try to maintain as healthy a lifestyle as possible. See your dentist every 3 to 6 months, you'll be okay.
Remarkable there from Dr. Gilbert Omido in Kansas. Time for us to go on a short break, but when we return, we'll have more on the good doctor as well as what KQ is doing as it launches its new cargo route from Nairobi to Sharjah.
It's been about 40 years since Gilbert Omido landed in the United States. In that time, he has changed careers from construction worker to petroleum chemist and finally dentist with his very own practice.
Dentists in the United States are exposed to a lot more in their training than, say, dentists in Kenya. We see a lot before we actually begin to practice. For MDs are medical doctors, like family practitioners. For example, they're already doctors in Kenya, and they want to come to practice in the United States. The easiest route, which is what a lot of them do, is they take exams in Kenya that allow them to come to the United States to apply to go into residency programs. And once they get into the residency programs, which are not very easy to get in, by the way, they're very difficult to get in.
What are residency programs?
Okay, so a lot of, unlike us dentists, I go to dental school for 4 years. When I come out of dental school, I am ready to go out and practice. Medical doctors, the ones that treat you for lungs and things like this, unless they're specialists, when they come out of school, they still need to go into a residency program for another 3 years.
3 years.
Before they are actually recognized as internal medicine doctors or whatever it is. Like lawyers in Kenya, when they graduate from law school in Kenya, they still have to, when they graduate with a law degree,
Go to pupil.
they have to go to the law school. See what I'm saying? So the same system here. So the expectation that somebody will just, because now you're a doctor over there, you want to come and find work over here, it's not going to work.
For nurses?
For nurses, it's easier because there's a severe shortage of nurses here. So nurses can come here, and I don't think the requirements are so strict for them to find work and start working as nurses. It's a service that's in severe shortage here in the United States. So that's an easy route.
It seems the Nairobi School alumnus is living his American dream, experiencing success after success, which he attributes to the support he receives from his wife and professionalism of his employees.
Oh, she's the engine that runs the whole operation. She's the office manager. She keeps an eye on things. I cannot see when I'm in the back treating patients. I do not have a chance to meet the people that come in through the door. She greets them. She hears most of the complaints that I wouldn't get to hear, the personal hardships that patients go, because sometimes patients come in with issues that I don't even get to hear. Maybe their loved one died. I don't. She gets to hear that because she can engage in conversations with them on a level that I don't. Even with staff, she acts as a buffer between me and them. If there's issues that she gets to it before I do, and just the communication that goes that a company needs to run, she does a lot of that instead of myself. So she's very vital.
Speaking of Kenya, Gilbert has definitely not forgotten his motherland, with plans of establishing a similar business there.
I would love to do that. At the very minimum, I'd love to be able to teach somebody the skills that I have acquired in America, not just as a chemist, but even just life skills. I've done a lot of volunteer work, like go to Mathare or Lolongo, or I've done dental volunteer work in Puerto Rico and a lot of other places to where you just go in and you do dentistry. Okay. In Kenya, I think it's a little hard because of the availability or lack of availability of support systems for that kind of service. So the right environment for that to work will be a university or teaching institution environment.
And it is this love for his motherland that keeps him connected to his fellow countrymen. Yes, Gilbert goes out of his way to host Kenyans at his home whenever he can.
Oh, we were all excited. I mean, when you confirmed you were coming, I called everybody that I know. I said, hey, you got to come to my house. Alex is here. They were very excited that you were coming. For me, especially, we've been talking for quite some time, and I've been following your programs for a long time, and I've been looking forward to meeting you. So I was delighted to see your team.
Currently, Gilbert is on his next assignment as an adjunct professor at the Missouri School of Dentistry and Oral Health. This is after selling his dentistry business a couple of months back. Ever the adventurist, his plan is to always challenge the status quo and follow his passion. And if that's not daring, I don't know what is.
The one thing America has taught me for sure is hard work. It has taught me the involvement of a father in the raising of their children. At home, kids, dad is so revered that sometimes when you hear dad is coming, kids go to hide. Okay, here in America, your kids are your playmates. I was present in the room when all my kids were born. I've changed diapers, and I've been involved with their activities. I watched them grow. So it's the closeness and the tightness of a family unit, especially for a father, the kind of fathership that I know from where I grew up, definitely was changed when I came to America. I think it made me a better dad than I would have been if I didn't.
Quite inspiring from the good doctor all the way from United States. Time now for us to focus on our national carrier. Now, Kenya Airways has been busy expanding its routes when it comes to cargo as well as passenger flights, with the latest being the newly launched route between Nairobi and Sharjah in the United Arab Emirates. And here is how it went down.
For some time now, Kenya Airways has been actively engaged in the expansion of routes in an effort to boost trade in the region. This has seen the national carrier expand operations in a number of regions, with the latest being a new direct cargo route between Nairobi and Sharjah in the United Arab Emirates.
We're flagging off our Sharjah route, Nairobi-Sharjah, Nairobi to the rest of Africa. This is a freighter. We have a brand new 737-800 freighter. So the reason why this is happening is that we're flagging off this route. We want to increase our traffic, our cargo traffic into UAE, into Sharjah, UAE, and actually the larger Middle East region, and then back the other way as well into East Africa and then the larger Africa region. Sharjah as an airport is developing into a specialized cargo airport. And not just that, it's easier to do business in Sharjah because it's smaller, it's more niche, and the people are more accessible. So operations in Sharjah tend to be a lot more smoother. In addition, there's a lot of activity in Sharjah as well, so you get a lot of consolidation of cargo, back not just to Sharjah, but also out of Sharjah.
The route will see 4 direct weekly flights between Kenya and UAE, strengthening relations between the two countries. The route has already been in operation for about a month now.
We think it is quite significant for us. And so for us to do that, obviously the first is to make sure that the route is viable. So we're carrying cargo, so we did some tests back and forth. The operations team need to make sure that they are coordinating with the team here in Sharjah, the airport, get all the passes and clearances. We had the opportunity to have the chairman and the director general of the airport grace this occasion, so make sure that they're invited. The embassy, Kenyan embassy, also was represented here, so that was significant, so get them invited here as well. And make sure that the communications team and all that goes with it is also aligned. Cargo, it represents about 10% of our business today. We want it to move ever so closely towards 20%, initially maybe 16% of the business in the next 5 years. So what that means is that you have to have new routes, you have new equipment and capacity. So this particular aircraft is additional capacity, and in itself It's quite significant. We have additional capacity coming in end of March, which will double our capacity in one shot. And in fact, the discussions that we've had here in Sharjah suggests that this is going to be a significant route for both the current new freighter and the new one that's coming in.
The new route is poised to not only benefit the two countries, but also the regions.
If we fly into Sharjah, like we are doing now, there's extensions as well from Sharjah into maybe into the Far East, into India, Pakistan, into Saudi and other Middle East countries. And then once they fly into Nairobi, we can also distribute to other neighboring countries, including Somalia, including Juba, Djibouti, and so on and so forth. Our mission is really about the prosperity of the African continent. So we contribute significantly to economies in Africa, in particular, of course, also around the world. And so within our mission is cargo. How do we make trade possible for Kenya and for Africa? And this is one way of doing it, to make sure that goods are getting to the places they're getting fresh, in the case they're fresh produce, or in time, in case they're general cargo. So for us is to announce to the world that we're here to help Africa prosper through the way we do our markets, through the way we do our culture, through the way we do our trade. And so ask all people to join with us and with this excitement, with this exciting opportunity that we have to continue serving Africa.
Congratulations to the national carrier. They truly are the pride of Africa. With that, we have come to the end of the show today. Many thanks to our main guest, Dr. Gilbert Omido in the United States. Now, before I leave your screens, just a reminder, Daring Abroad Investment Forums is in Australia and they shall be in Melbourne City from the 15th to the 17th. If you want to participate, kindly reach out to the number on your screens and let's share investment opportunities in betterment for our country. On behalf of the team responsible for this week's episode, I say thank you so much for watching and see you again next time.